That
questions.
is very true.
I think that if they start to touch on something that upsets them, they go away from that. Whereas as actors, we have to explore that and find out why. Why does that upset us, and what is the meaning behind it? And I don't know, maybe we're well-adjusted because of it, or maybe we're more messed up. I don't know.
It could work either way, because I know that when I get upset if I see something on the news or something happen in my life, I mean, I just go right to the comedies, you know. Forget it. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to think about that. I want to laugh, you know.
Right. I know, and I did that for so many years. I was a very guilty meat eater. I knew there were, you know, terrible things going on, but I just ignored it. And lately I've been forcing myself to investigate, to look at the pictures, to read the articles, to look at the videos, and I'm horrified. And I'm not saying that I'm a vegetarian or vegan, but I've worked about 90%, I would say 90% of the meat out of my diet, because I'm just for the sake of animal cruelty.
Right.
You know, for no other reason.
If I think about what I'm cooking, I can't cook it and I can't eat it.
Right.
So that'll happen to me, you know, quite a few times. My husband will come home and he'll be like, okay, I thought you were going to make some chicken. I said, you know what? I thought about where it came from. I had these pictures flashing. I can't do it. You're going to have to do it. And he does it without thought. Now, speaking of comedies, when I was doing research on things that you had been in and movies and that, I came across something called The Nanny Insanity. Now, that looks like a really funny movie. Can you tell us more about that?
Oh, my goodness. That was so much fun. So much fun. Well, I played a fairly straight role, the straight man in that movie, and it was about this nanny that was, what was she? God, we're going back a while. She was Russian.
Russian or
German?
Yeah, Russian, because the other person was from Ukraine, for real, I think. So I think it was Russian.
Right. I think they were Russian. I think they released it under the title Domestic Import. And we did it, and the making of it was Nanny Insanity. And Larry Dorff, who is an incredible comic actor, played my husband. And Ala Karat, oh my gosh, she played Sophia, the nanny, and she was just out of her mind as far as, you know, my perspective was. But she was, how do I describe it? She had the craziest outfit. Then she had this verb for life. She just was over the top, and she had to help every member of her family. So it was like the Russians were popping out of the cupboards. You know, she was just helping everybody. You know, the treat for me on that, Mindy Sterling played my mother, and Howard Hessman played my father.
Oh, so cool.
That was so incredibly cool. I watched WKRP in Cincinnati when I was a kid. I couldn't believe that Howard Hessman was right in front of me playing my father. I couldn't believe it. Mindy Sterling said to me so many things, and she's such a dear. I jokingly sent her Mother's Day cards for a few years after that.
Oh, that's so nice.
So I still occasionally write her an email and say, hi, Mom. She's, you know, brilliant. But that was just a wacky project, and really, really, really fun. Incredibly fun.
I need to see that because it sounded so great. It sounded so funny when I was reading about it, and it wasn't one that I had heard of before.
It was really fun, and it was like based on the true story of the writer, Andrea Malmut. She had gone through this and then, you know, penned the story, and I believe she had written it and thrown it in a drawer for years and years and years, and then pulled it back out and tried to pursue it a little bit, and then she couldn't believe it. She was there on set, and these people were like, you know, I'm there playing her. And these actors, we were shooting that on the Sony lot. I mean, I think, gosh, what was a really big, I think they shot Gone with the Wind on that lot. I mean, it was such a big deal. It was incredible. It was really fun. Really, really, really fun.
Well, of all the things that you've done, I mean, you've acted in so many movies and television, and, I mean, you've done, gosh, it seems like you've done it all. Do you have a particular experience through your career that just kind of stands out for you as being kind of that just a special moment that is most memorable for you?
I have, gosh, a few popped to mind. I remember when we went to the Monte Carlo Television Festival, and it was just what I call one of those red carpet moments. You know, like the rest of the time I live my life very normally. I don't club, I don't party, you know. have had a couple of red carpet moments, and one was in Monte Carlo. And you just look out. First of all, you're in this incredibly beautiful place, and you're flown into Nice, and then helicoptered to Monte Carlo, and then the paparazzi are there, and there are hundreds of them taking pictures of you. And I, being a big dork, got my camera out and stood up on one of the railings and took pictures of them. Just an idiot. And it's a great time there. And they selected a person to sit with Prince Albert, and who was going to sit with Prince Albert, and I got selected, which meant that my producers and my co-stars and I got to sit at the table. So also there was Jon Favreau and his girlfriend, who was a doctor who he then married, I believe, and Penelope Ann Miller. So that was our table. So it was a pretty good table, I would say. And we went out with the prince afterwards dancing, and oh my gosh, that was pretty fun. Another red carpet moment was when Whale Music opened the Toronto Film Festival. So that was a big deal, because then you've got, Raul Julia in town, Robert Downey Jr. in town. They're all in town to promote their films, and they all come to the opening night party. So there were 5,000 people at the party that night. I think they said there were. They had put tents up down by the lake. And there were just an incredibly ridiculous number of people. The entire film festival turns out pretty much for this giant opening night party after some of them have seen the film. And it was my movie. It was me, Maury Chaykin, and Paul Gross, and directed by the amazing Richard Lewis, which was an incredible time making that movie. And Maury Chaykin, who's no longer with us, we miss him dearly. Mm-hmm. So such a brilliant actor. But that was an incredible moment in my career. And, of course, that got me all sorts of attention from the States. And I had, 3 different companies pursuing me for representation. And so I had to choose one.
Such a problem to have.
So I didn't know how to choose. So I went, okay, well, that agency over there represents Jack Nicholson. So if they're good enough for Jack, they're good enough for me.
Right?
Yeah, really. So I went with them. That was a big deal. That ended up really changing. Oh, and then we were up for Best Picture in Canada, and Maury won Best Actor, which he then shared with me, and the camera comes in and me bawling my eyes out. So, it was a really pivotal moment in my career.
That's wonderful.
Speaking of your career, you've acted with so many different people. And do you have, a particular favorite that you just really enjoyed? I mean, I know it's got to be difficult, but is there one that just, again?
The most recent thrill. I mean, because Julianne Moore was the job before that, but the most recent double thrill was I was on an episode of Hannibal, which is a new show that I believe premieres in March. So I'm in episode 6, so I think that means it would air mid-May. And Hannibal stars the wonderful Hugh Dancy, who is married to Claire Danes, and I followed her, and I followed him, so that was a really big thrill. And also Lawrence Fishburne. I mean,
oh yeah.
My scenes were with Hugh and Lawrence, and that was one of the ones I was referring to earlier, where I had to cry for 9 hours, because actually in the I'm just a little teary. I'm upset. I'm worked up, but I'm not bawling. But to maintain that in between, I had to cry my eyes out when the camera wasn't rolling and just stay in that place. And I'm there working with Lawrence Fishburne and Hugh Dancy. They pinched me. It was the day of the election. It was the day of the last election. And I, at one point, I don't know if I should say who I was rooting for.
Well,
should I?
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe
I don't know.
Not.
Is that going to give away anything?
I don't want to offend anyone, but let's just say that I actually at one point was I had exhausted the emotion due to, the actual scene, and then I had thought about other things, and I tied other things, and at one point, for a couple of takes, I just cried at the thought of a certain person becoming, that's just going to give it away too. Anyway, I used other things to cry. I was just, yes, a little horrified and terrified. Anyway, Lawrence Fishburne and Hugh Dancy, incredible treat for me. Just a really, how do you say it? It's just so exciting. I'm just in such awe of their work,
Right. Yeah, they're brilliant, that's for sure.
Exactly. gosh.
Well, you know what I'm in awe of is the fact that you have been at this for quite some time. I mean, and you still are just as humble and grounded and in awe of who you're in the movies and who you star in the television shows with. I mean, you do not take anything for granted, and it's amazing, your passion. It's like earlier in the interview when you were talking about your first day on the GH set and how excited you were and you couldn't quit smiling. And it's almost like that has carried with you through your career because you've had so many different experiences. And it's just kind of kept that. I imagine your adrenaline has just constantly been on this emotional high, So I don't know how you've been able to cry at all.
Right.
It's just a roller coaster. You got to pay your ticket, and you got to get on that ride, and you got to take it.
That's right. That's right.
Now, you've been with being in so many movies and with so many co-stars and that. If you were to write your own movie, who would you choose as your co-star, and what would that movie be about?
I was just thinking about that today. Oh, my gosh, and I was trying to remember. There have been so many different times when I've had actors that I'd love to work with so much, and I thought, if I ever have the power to choose who I work with, I've got to, we've got to write a movie with these people. I've got to produce a movie with these people. And I was thinking about that today, and I was like, I can't remember. There's just so many great people, as you said, so many great people. It would be, I don't know, it would be a real conundrum. I guess it would just come down to the script and casting, and then at that point really putting my thinking cap on and trying to remember, who do I know, who have I worked with that I really, really, really want to play that character, because casting is everything.
Exactly.
Casting is so important, so it has to be the right person, and hopefully we'll be having that discussion on another show when I've written the script.
Oh.
There you go. There you go. At least we know you're thinking about it already.
Yes.
Absolutely. For a long time. We all must. Yes.
Yes. That would be phenomenal. Now, you stay so incredibly busy. So when you have downtime, if you ever have downtime, what do you do for fun? What do you enjoy doing?
My favorite thing. I love it so much, is scuba diving.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, I could email you pictures of me with sharks. Oh, it's just phenomenal. I love it.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
You have a lot of courage.
Oh, well, in Hawaii, the white tips don't generally bite people, and I was
still, just being underwater like that, that's not for me.
When I was a kid, I used to hold my breath as long as I could, pretend I was a mermaid, and just pretend I lived down. My mother said her whole job when I was little was to sit on the beach with a book and just look up constantly and make sure that my head was bobbing up sometimes, because I was in the water all day, every day. I love swimming so much, and I just wanted to stay down there. So it was at the top of my list of things to do for years. It took me about 10 years of concentrating on, I really want to do it. When am I going to do it? When am I going to do it? And then I got certified, and I got advanced certified at the same time, because I thought, well, I want to do all the other things. I want to do drift dives and night dives. So why don't I, while I was there in Hawaii getting certified, why don't I just study these extra things and take these extra tests and become advanced certified at the same time? How exciting. Right. That's a great idea. Although it's really exhausting, because every night you have to read chapters and chapters and chapters and really know them, and then you go in and get tested in the morning, and you have to pass the test before you can dive that day. So it just extended the sort of grueling aspect of getting certified by doing the advanced at the same time. But who cares? It's done. I love it. Yeah. I love it. And giving a
well, when you
shout-out
put
to
your
the
head to
grandma
something, you really do it. You go all the way, and that's a good thing.
Thanks. That's nice.
Now, if you had not pursued acting, or rather acting pursued you, whichever the case may be, what do you think you would be doing for a living today?
Fascinating question. I come from a family of professionals. I never thought about doing anything artistic like this. My father's an engineer. His degree is in engineering physics, and my brother is an engineer. My sister's a lawyer. There are nurses and doctors and teachers in my family. So there was no doubt that I would go to university, as we say in Canada. There's, wasn't the same distinction in the States as going to college as going to university, but here there was different. It was like colleges. It used to be different. I don't know what it is now. But anyway, I was no doubt I was going to go to university. And so that first movie job came up the summer between high school and university. And I thought, well, what a lovely thing to do for the summer holiday, and didn't at all think